With us now is FMX and distance jumping champion. Everybody knows he's a legend of the sport. Of course, it's our own Robbie Maddison. Welcome to MXTV again, mate.
Thanks, mate. Good to be back on the air.
Now, mate, what have you been up to for this year? Tell all the guys out there.
This year's kind of been like a different turn for me. Like I've done Red Bull X Fighters and Best Whip in LA. And then we did a project that's going to come out next year, so we finished shooting it. It was a big commitment. Kind of hard to do that commitment and then come out and then not be able to tell anyone about it. You guys will see it next year. And I'm trying to focus on some bigger goals, and we're putting together a big event next year, and I'm working close with Red Bull and a couple of networks and trying to work out a deal and pull off another cool idea. At the end of the day, it's what it's about for my sponsors, and I've been doing the freestyle circuit now for 10 years and just want to try and freshen things up and go in different directions. The crash that I had at X Games with Speed and Style, it took the wind out of me for sure. I actually was really close to dying. When I crashed, the bike hit me in the back, and the second rib actually almost ruptured my aorta, and so I was pushing on the aorta and puncturing it in, and it didn't rupture it. And so they pretty much told me that I can't do any contact or action sports ever again, and pretty much going to have a mundane life from there on in. And you know, obviously I didn't want to take that as the rest of my life, so I went and kind of started researching and looking into how I could fix it. I went down and caught up with Paul Checks, and rather than Western medicine's approach of putting a band-aid on every situation, he looks at the root of the problem, and with the broken rib he was able to get me to do some stretches, and during one of the stretches it popped back out, and I didn't have to have the surgery, and it definitely took the wind out of the sail. And after that crash I wasn't sure if I wanted to take those risks anymore, but there's a part of me that really feels I'm here to take on from Evel Knievel where he left off, and that's where my focus is, and that's what I'm trying to shoot for, you know.
How'd you get into dirt bikes? And you know, probably a lot of the people out there don't really know the true story.
I think what really kicked it off for me was there was a young guy who lived at the top of the street, and their parents were building a house at the bottom of the street, so literally every day he'd ride past on a mini bike, and I started being aware of it, and I was tuned in, and I'd hear the noise of the bike coming. I'd run to the window and see him go past, and that image is still in my head today, and I think that's what set it off for me, is just the freedom this young kid had riding his dirt bike. My dad still says it was the most expensive mistake he made. But you know, 10 years of racing motocross as a junior, you know, my parents really did a great thing by me and gave me a foundation that's been able to lead me on to obviously freestyle motocross, adapting to the tricks quickly, and also having the confidence to fly, you know, long distances.
Another viewer question is, how'd you get into the freestyle scene?
I was a late bloomer, so I think it really messed with how fast I was on the track. You know, in the 80cc class I'd dominate, but in the 125 class I was kind of really struggling to get the podium, so I didn't really get noticed at a young age. And when you went to senior, there was really no offers, so I, you know, decided to make a decision, and I went and did an apprenticeship. And it was just advice from my dad, and it was great advice. You know, I learnt so many keys about life, and you know, putting in the hard work, and you know, usually when it's tough, it's not time to quit, it's time to kind of go a bit deeper and push a bit harder. And after my apprenticeship was over, freestyle motocross was like really booming, and the Crusty Demons were out in Australia touring, and I remember watching Luke Urek and Twitch doing a synchronised turn down, and that did it for me.
You're worldwide known as the distance jumping man now. As you said, you've taken over from Evel Knievel. What led you down that path?
This was a dream of mine all through primary school, high school, you know, and it was something that I never really spoke about because I just thought it was so far out of my reach. You know, having meningitis and nearly dying through my apprenticeship definitely made me decide that I needed to take the risk and go for what I was dreaming about. There was a drive inside of me that just wanted to jump big jumps. You know, I was like hitting these ramps, and it was so cool to hit it, but I was like, we're in second gear. You know, I've got like 4 others to hit, so I wanted to hit something 5th gear pinned and feel what that felt like. And so I was just kind of going out off my own bat, trying to find a piece of land where I could build a massive landing to just have a go at it. Eventually, Crusty Demons were having a big event, and Seth Enslow was lined up to do the world record jump, and weeks before he broke his wrist and was unable to ride, and word on the street was looking for someone to do the record, and I was like, this is my calling, like this is what I'm about. So I think very first jump I went 220 feet. From there we stretched the ramp right back and got 2 world records that night, and then that was just motivation then to kind of go out and keep pushing it. You know, I definitely don't look at myself as any kind of superstar. You know, I'm just a dude, blue-collared worker following his dream, and definitely thankful for everyone that's helped me out to get this far. I like to just give back. You know, I think at the end of the day, if you're not helping out or giving back, we're all away from home. We all haven't got our families here. We all are in the same position, and it's just cool to get the Aussie boys out here. We've got pies in the freezer, and we got tubs of Vegemite around here, and we keep it real. And it's just good to get out on the bike, share what I've got here. You know, all the other guys don't have courses, and it's hard to kind of get on everyone's courses and have a ride. And I just try to make it like an open pass. You know, if you're an Aussie and you ride dirt bikes, you're welcome. There you go.
Can you explain to me one of your quotes? I believe that sometimes in life you have to take risks to get wiser.
And I think for me personally, like, there's always this goal of, you know, being a star on the bike and all this kind of stuff, but really once you get there, you're still looking and you feel kind of hollow inside. And I think taking those risks and trying to nourish that drive for whatever, you know, materialistic things, you know, I think after taking the risks and then getting those things, and then to look back, it was never about that anyway. I think having a family and all that definitely has helped. I mean, for me, all these risks that I've taken has made me kind of look back and appreciate the small things.
Thank you very much for inviting us out. It's an unbelievable day out here, and you guys got the riding done early. As I said, this guy's going to be probably one of the nicest blokes I've met in the dirt bike industry, and they're all really nice, but you're an unbelievable bloke. So thanks very much for inviting us out and getting us out here and showing us your pad. It's awesome.
Awesome. Thanks for coming out, guys. Welcome to the little slice of Australia here in the Southern California desert.